Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Everyman podcast. Tonight we have no special guest. We have me and Dean. Dean, you can
Cheers.
be the special guest tonight. You can be the special guest tonight. Yeah, we have no special guest. This is our last episode of 2023, where we wanted to come on. We've had lots of changes in the pod, lots of things going on, and yeah, we wanted to do something ahead of the year ending, just to sort of set us up for next year. We've got loads of big plans, loads of things happening. Where this year's kind of felt like it's fizzled out a little bit. We had a couple of guests that cancelled within an hour of us going live. Last week, everyone had loads of stuff going on. James is moving home. Job's got friends over from America. Dean, I think you were still trying to get into your car. Which you've now sorted, I believe.
I'm in now. Thank God. It was a nightmare. Too much to go into right now. But honestly, being in my life, you get a nice car thinking that it'll be all nice and that, and then it's just more hassle than they're worth. So I'm sick.
Go on. I feel there's a story that you're going to have to tell us all.
Oh, it's just
Come on.
So I've got BMW, obviously the rear wheel drives. So I was driving you back, wasn't I, from our dinner. We went for some dinner with some friends, and on the way back, the battery light popped up, and I thought, oh, I think I've got a feeling this is going to go off. And I was trying to put the heaters on, wasn't I? And it wasn't going on.
Yeah.
And then we're getting closer and closer to your house, and the car was going slower and slower. And I was thinking this is going to die in a minute. So dropped you off, and I thought, right, well, as long as I can get it home, I'll be sound. So drives the car, gets probably halfway between yours and mine, maybe a little bit less. And I thought this is going to die. So Slater's gym was just round the corner, and I thought, right, I'll if I can pull in there. So I pulled in, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna need a new battery, or it's gonna be an alternator or something. So we got an Uber home, and then the next day I took my other car, dropped Sean off at the airport, and then I thought, right, I'll go and get this car sorted. We had plans, didn't we? We're gonna go watch the Newcastle match. We're gonna do some other things as well. Cinema, yeah, we're gonna go to the cinema, and then I've ordered a battery on one of these websites where you put your registration and it tells you which battery it is, and I ordered it. So I picked it up, took it to the car, took the old battery out, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, this battery's not the right one. So I put them next to each other and realized they're wrong size. And then, so I've shut the boot, took it to the place to get them to match the right battery. They've given me the right battery. And then I've got back to the car, and because it's a BMW, the boot opens through, like it's battery powered. So there's no battery in the car, so the boot wouldn't open. So at first I was like, oh, that's sound. I'll just like get the key. So I took the key out, and I looked, there was no keyhole. And I was like, well, what am I meant to do here? So I think I picked you up, didn't I? I sat and was Googling online about how to get into this car and stuff. And everyone was like, oh, you can put jumper cables on the front. So I put the jumper cables on the front. That didn't work. So I was like, what am I going to do here? So I was like, oh, I've got AA cover. So I booked the AA cover. So I went to ring the AA through the app, and then they declined it because the MOT had run out the day before.
Yeah.
So it was just another thing again. And then I read online that it's a good idea that if you break your rear brake light, you might be able to fish the emergency trunk boot opener. And so I tried to get in, and I couldn't get in. For like days, I was asking people for help and everything. And then, funnily enough, I was parked 10 feet away from a garage. And after 7 days, I decided I'm going to go and ask him if he can help me to get in. So on Friday, I gave them the keys. And then by Monday, it was all up and running. So I've picked up the car today. It's cost me, best part of £350. I was fully expecting to turn up and I'm just be like, oh yeah, by the way, I just took an hour, so I'm probably in my naivety. I was thinking he's just going to say, I don't know why I thought this, but I was just going to say, 20 quid or something like that. So I was like, I was going to give him a tip, But then when he come, he said that he eventually got in. He had to take the seats up, and then like force his way in the back. And then he said he had to like sort of reach and try and connect these two things that he could barely touch. And then when he got in, he opened the boot. He replaced the battery for me, but then he couldn't. When he got in and started the car, the same light that was on when we had the problem was on again. So he's changed something which has ended up costing us £300. And I'm gonna have to pay for a rear brake light to be fixed as well. So yeah, it's just more money. But yeah, after all that, if you've got a BMW and you open the boot and you disconnect the battery, don't lock the boot. Especially if you've
I
got
don't know why you would. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why you would. And I know we've had this conversation now for
yeah,
what
but
feels
like
like 2
you
weeks.
wouldn't think of that.
No, I wouldn't think of that.
That
I'm an idiot.
nobody would.
But
Everybody
yeah.
says that on all the forums. They say like, who thought of this? Like it's so stupid. I'll never do it
No.
again. But then my ADHD, I probably will. I'll probably be like, oh yeah, I'll just walk away and just fuck.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. It's a really fair point. So yeah, my week's been probably similar because I've had to listen to that for 2 weeks. No, we've had a good couple of weeks. I think Sunday you had the pleasure of being around me, absolutely hungover, nearly falling asleep in a bar because I was so tired.
Yeah,
that probably wasn't the best. So apologies for that. Wasn't feeling the best. I suppose what I want to use this episode for is to give some updates on the podcast. We've had some people leave the podcast. We've had some new plans come in. We're sort of developing a new format and stuff. So maybe to cover some of that stuff. Also discuss then sort of what our year's been like, what's went well, what hasn't. I think there's been a lot of change in my life. I think you've gone through a bit, but mine probably more than a few of us. Then I suppose what we want 2024 to be for the pod and for ourselves. I think that would be a good thing to cover. Cover some of the things around like biggest accomplishments that have happened this year, things I'm most proud of, those sorts of things. And then I've got some sort of ad hoc questions that we can go through to lighten the mood a bit. So I suppose to give some updates, if you've watched the podcast or listened to the podcast fairly recently, you'll notice that Ethan isn't on the podcast. Ethan made the decision to step away from the podcast for a few reasons. One of the big reasons being time and things. Fully understandable. He's going to be a big miss, not just in the podcast, but Dean with the alarm. Not just for the podcast, but generally just having this time with one of my best mates every week. So hopefully we can get him back on every now and then. But just at this moment in time, it's a bit too much of a commitment for him, which is fully understandable. And Reese is in a similar sort of situation. So Reese, if a few of you have followed Reese on LinkedIn or you have him on Facebook, you'll see that Reese has done lots of big running events himself. He's just started some public speaking, and he has a direction that he wants his sort of mental health ambassador type speaking gig to go down. So yeah, it was one of those where us as a group of mates, what we want this to be is a safe place where we can come on, talk, share stories, have a bit of banter with each other, catch up, but equally bring guests' lives, experiences, stories to life through having really powerful and meaningful conversations with them. I think one thing that we've really sort of tried to understand, especially over the last, month, 6 weeks, is how do we bring more fun stuff to this, where it's not necessarily just us talking about some pretty shitty, heavy stuff. Because whilst at first I think that was really great for all of us, I think over time we're all kind of in that next phase of our mental health, of how do we then take that from just understanding some of the stories and situations that people have been in to then now taking it to, okay, let's start really covering some pure topics and how we can help people who are struggling with those topics versus necessarily just talking about individuals' experiences. So that's a big focus that we're going to be doing. And then looking to introduce some more like question answer content where it's a bit more fun, a bit more lighthearted as well. Because again, this is our Monday nights as well as your Monday nights if you listen live. And if you don't listen, if you're going on a run or a walk or whatever, we want you to have a laugh, because actually we spend most of our time ripping each other when we're not on a podcast. We might as well try and rip each other on a podcast. It's way more fun. So, Dean, I suppose to kick off from what this year has been for you, how has 2023 been for you? It's obviously been I think it's been 11 months that we've been doing a podcast. I think this is the year that me and you probably became really close mates as well. I think we were friends last year, but this year our bromance has got stronger. The lads are a little bit harsher with that language, but our bromance has got stronger.
I know it's been good, mate. We've had a good year. Obviously, I had me 2 weddings. By the way, it's mad to think that we're having this conversation. It's like what, the 12th of December, and like it. When your mom used to say to you when you're younger, you'll regret it when you're older. It goes quick, and you're like, no, it doesn't. But like now,
It's like
it's
this, isn't it?
flying, isn't it? Like sometimes Monday to Friday when you're just in that like sort of work mode, you've just got like your routine, you're working, you go to football and that. Before you know it's the weekend, and then before you know it's the next weekend, and the next weekend, obviously it drags like Monday to Friday still. Not disputing that, but I know good. Obviously I had my wedding, my English wedding. I had my wedding in Japan. A couple of holidays in there. Sort of been on and off diet. Sort of fell in love with running. Fell out of love with running. Fell back in love with running. Got in a bit of a habit of going to the gym. Overall, just I feel a lot better at the end of this year than I have it sort of other years. I'm excited to see where I'll be next year, especially with a little bit more of the consistency. Yeah. Watashi wa sakoshi nihongo ga hana hazimasu, which means I speak a little bit of Japanese.
It's basically supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in Japanese.
But that's all I know. So that every time anybody asks, I can say that. Now I can speak a little bit. I can count to 100 and stuff like that. But I know good year. Like I say, really keen next year. Obviously, I did that 75-day challenge. That was good. Although I've found that since I've come off that, not having that strictness to have to adhere to it, it's really easy for me to just sack it off. So I'm really struggling or trying to find that routine again. So like today, I've pretty much followed it. Hi, bilingual. That's probably my next goal. To be fair, I probably should. I hope she's
Be
not
able to
listening.
speak to your wife.
Promise.
Be able to actually
Yeah,
speak to your wife. Yeah.
yeah. I probably should be able to. Like, it's just fucking boring, though, isn't it? Like, fuck, so. But not my wife. Just learning a language. I
That
bought this
definitely sounds
text.
that sounded like she's boring, not it's boring. By the way,
I bought a textbook, like when we went to Japan, and obviously, like I know what I'm like. I buy like the best stuff to whatever I'm doing, and then it just collects dust. And she's like, "You said you would do that every day," and I said, "Yeah, but it's fucking boring, mate. I'd rather be playing football, but I need to do it eventually."
Yeah.
What about yourself? What about your year, mate?
Is it this type of podcast? It's probably not to go into it properly, but yeah, it's been a tough year, right? I've gone through a breakup, moved out of like family home. Yeah, it's been. Do you know what? There's been so many good things happen this year. Where if I look at last year I didn't want to be here. This year, I'm going into Christmas being like, you know what, I'm actually looking forward to Christmas. So this is pretty good, right? And yeah, I think this year's been the year of getting properly back in touch with my mates, which has been brilliant. Not just you guys, the football lot, like my group of mates as well, which was great. Went out with them on the weekend, which was really good fun. So yeah, that's been good. I think I don't know. I think next year has to be a big year for me. Whilst the being single part's been fun, as in being able to go and spend the day watching football or whatever, or going to football and training all the time, which has definitely dropped off a cliff recently. While all those things have been really good, I kind of feel like I'm just on a hamster wheel a little bit. Like my life's very much the same. I'm getting paid, going out for food, going out for drinks, socializing, doing that stuff, which is really, really good. But I'm 31. I've got to now sort out what I actually want my life to be. I'm really lucky. I have a good job. I'm really lucky. I have great people around me. It won't take me massive amounts of time to get back into like a good place again. But it's been a really hard year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This has been. If I look at like a year ago, this month, for example, to today, it's been a really, really, really hard year. If I look at the last 3 months, 4 months, it's been really good. I think gradually, since being single, it's got better and better and better and better and better, which is good. I'm starting to
Yeah.
get into like a rhythm of what my life is. So Job has left a question. He couldn't come on the podcast, but he's leaving lots of comments here, isn't he? Thing is, Lou, sometimes you have to go through shit to come out with lessons learned and becoming a better person. I've seen huge growth in you as a man and a dad. Well, I will take that, mate. Thank you, especially from you. Really do appreciate that. I think there's been, I definitely have had growth, but I've probably learned to be a little bit more selfish. Where I have the ability to be selfish, we all have that ability, right? But trying to be a bit more selfish and just do the things that actually make me happy, where maybe for years you just don't because you get into bad routines and habits and stuff. So maybe a bit of that. But overall, I'm going to ask you the same question. If I had to rate my year out of 10, I'd probably rate it coming into the back end of the year, maybe like a 6, I think. Like early in the year, it was terrible. Now it's like a 6 to maybe a 7, because I'm actually enjoying seeing my mates a lot more and socializing and stuff. How about you? You have been married twice. If that's not a 10, I don't know what is a 10.
That's going
And 2
backwards now.
holidays.
Yeah.
You got
Well,
married.
2 holidays. Yeah, to be honest, probably good. I mean, probably like a 9. Really, you can't really complain. We had a bit of bother with work, with obviously like the whole new changing and targets going higher, and we're not making as much money as we once did. But that's probably the only negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not getting as many minutes playing football as what I would like to get this season. But we've got a winning team at the minute, so
I didn't even
I think
comment on football. I didn't even comment.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You've been awful. And and then, but yeah, probably a 9. I'm trying to think like what would really be better for us. To be fair, I'm happy with everything. I just want to probably get a better routine, especially around sleeping and getting up in the mornings. Probably my main one. I know that I don't know. The last time we did the podcast, or the last time I was on, we'd sort of all set like a mini goal for myself, and I'd set the goal I was going to delete my game, which I have done, and I haven't downloaded that since. So that's probably what 6-7 weeks, something like that. So I still play a little bit of 8-ball pool, but like 8-ball pool's like one of them where like it's a couple of minutes and then it's off. It's not addictive to play over and over again, especially when I lose all my coins.
Especially when you have a pool table in your living room.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. But my dog eats all my chalks. There he is. He eats my chalks. He loves it, and then she won't let me buy any more because I just leave them in my pocket all the time, and then he eats them. So she goes wild. But
if they're on the table, does he climb up and
no,
bite them? No,
I put them in my pocket. So like I created a habit to put them in my pocket to remind me to chalk my cue, because if it's in my pocket, I chalk my cue. But I haven't yet created the habit to take them out of my pocket at the end of the day. So like they're forever just in my pockets, and then I'll take my trousers off, and then in the morning take Charlie out and his shit's green. And I'm like, as he's having a poo, I'm like, oh, you little bastard. Pisses me off, that, honestly. Because like I know, but like it's so far later that I can't really kick off. But yeah, so obviously that part of it went well, deleting the game. Since then, I've actually found that I've got so much more time than what I actually believed I had. Like, whereas I come home after work now, I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Get him then. He wants to be in
for all listeners. That is Dean's dog getting that out of the living room.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right. No, I think that's a really good point, because I had a Star Wars game on my phone because I was 12, not 30, and I used to play it for like 2 hours a day. and I deleted it. I deleted it about 7 months ago or something, 6 months ago maybe. And yeah, I just feel like I have so much more time.
We
I think
spend
it's even
quality
the
time
fact that
together now.
yeah, me and you. Your missus still doesn't get a look in, but
She
yeah,
sees us a little bit, yeah, a little
yeah,
bit
she
more.
does.
We'll watch a little bit more TV together and just maybe spend some actually sort of quality time. And then also, I think because like I'm not sat on a game, like when I'm walking around, don't get us wrong, I don't do loads and loads and loads of housework. She does the bulk of it, but there's stuff that I notice that I'll pitch in with now that like normally I wouldn't because I wouldn't feel like I have the time. So since I've
Hmm.
quit that, that's actually been such a positive effect.
On your relationship.
Yeah, positive effect on my relationship, and then everything else. It's just allowed us to free up so much more time. So that's why I
Yeah,
just really want to get. If I could get this sleeping routine, and especially the getting up routine, and get the gym out the way with in the morning, then I would be so far ahead of anything, you know.
yeah.
So
I have
that's would be the next
I have,
one.
yeah, I have a sleep expert coming on in the new year actually, so
That'll
it'll be
be good.
interesting to pick their brains
The
because I
thing is,
think
I
it's
know
something
I
that
know what you need to do, but I just don't do it.
what do you need to do? Let's bookmark these comments for when they come on, and I'm just going to let you talk first, and then if they say, "Yeah, you've nailed everything," no point talking. We'll see how that episode goes. So it's reduce light from your phone before bed, right? That's a big one.
Yeah, regular like bedtime and getting up time, isn't it? That's a massive one.
Yeah,
Keeping your room like only for sleep, and maybe one or two other things, but primarily for sleep.
wouldn't know what
Um,
that is.
nah, but believe you. Uh, um, what keeping your room like cool at a cool temperature.
Hmm.
But they're the main ones. Sunlight in the eyes. Well, Huberman loves that one. Sunlight in the eyes as early
But
as
that's a
possible.
morning one, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Are
that'll
you
actually
thinking to
help
get
us.
up? You mean
Yeah,
to
it
get
helps
up?
your circadian rhythm, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's a big word. That is a big word.
That's why all I do is just listen to these podcasts. I don't action anything, but I listen to them all.
Very impressive. It is very impressive. So okay, so we've done some highs, but I don't think I had that many highs. This is a real problem. I have lots of. I feel I have lots of highs, but I don't think I mentioned many of the highs. Um, what has been your biggest regret of 2023? Oh, he
You
doesn't
know
have
what you should
one.
have done? You could have sent us like a few of these questions beforehand.
I
You've
could
got
have.
all the
I could
questions
have.
written down now. Biggest regret of 2023. Maybe I'll come back to it. I'll have a think. Something
Should
will
I
pop
go?
in my head when I'm. Yeah, you go and then.
My biggest regret of 2023, and I'm going to try and put a positive spin on it, is that I didn't realize that I had to do things that make me happier, that make me happy, and prioritize that. And I'm already falling out of some of that rhythm. So for me, what made me really happy was getting up and training, or going for a run and training, or eating healthy, or being active. I've had a really busy social calendar recently with like work events. We've launched a new brand, a few parties, close of project parties. I'm in London on Wednesday at another like event, which is amazing. But then I've got the Saturday football do next Saturday. We're out all day. These things are amazing, great social events, but they really throw me off
Yeah.
rhythm of training. So I'm going to get up on Sunday hungover and definitely not want to do any exercise. On Thursday, I will get up after going out at the work event, and I'm going to be tired. I've then got a full day at work. Then I've got to travel back from London back up. There's not a chance I'm going to want to train, even though you've now
Yeah.
roped me into a game on Thursday night. But if I didn't have that match, there's not a chance I would do anything. So I
Yeah.
think for now, what I've got to start doing is probably what you just said before around making sure that I prioritize these sorts of things. So if it's going for a run and I know it makes me feel really good, I've got to just make sure if I'm training with you, I'll always go. Or if I'm training with someone
Yeah.
else, I'll go. But if it's just on me to sort myself out and get out and run, it's just not going to happen. I've learned that I don't have that willpower.
Yeah. I think when talking there, my regret would probably be how far I let myself go after me holidays because
Mm,
I went on the
balloons.
stag do. I must have I lost I must have because I was thinking this. I'm probably now because I was thinking I've got such a good head start on next year because
Mm,
obviously January to March or whatever you work really hard, don't you? In their
yeah.
months to make yourself better and stuff, and then But then I was thinking, actually, I'm probably where I was because I've just, upped and down throughout the whole year. And I think that's probably my biggest regret. Although at the same time, I went on holiday, I was on my honeymoon. So like at the same time, I don't know if I necessarily fully regret it. Just wish I just reined it in maybe just a little bit. Um, and that's the thing with what you're saying. I finished at 75 days, and I find it really easy now to like let myself go of like, oh well, I don't need to exercise today, and
Because I'm in
then
half decent shape now. I'm not
yeah.
fit, but I'm not out of shape. That's kind of where I'm at, and it's like,
There's no football on at the minute. We've been told there's no game for 6 weeks. So like,
yeah,
ooh, but like at the same time, I'm thinking that's 6 weeks that if I work really hard, then I could be ahead of the competition. Be fitter and everything like that. So
hmm
it's just, I find you've got to have a reason why. If I don't have a reason why, if I don't have a goal, then
mm.
I just find it really hard to motivate myself. Even tonight, when you said about the podcast, I wasn't sure if we're coming on, and I said, "Oh, we're just having a talk or thingy," because I was going to say, "Well, should we go for food?" I was like, "Say, well, we'll go Nando's or something like that, and just talk there
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that's all we're doing." But yeah, it's just got to get back on it, I guess. But
I
this is the worst
I
time of
think we're
year.
good at and I think we're good at pushing each other. You're definitely way more strict than I am, but I think you had a really clear goal.
When I
Well,
have a
I
reason, yeah,
didn't.
that's the thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think I've really had a clear goal other than to be half fit for football. And
yeah,
then now that I'm doing all right at football, what I don't want to like, I'm getting really complacent because I'm like, yeah, but I can run for 90
yeah,
minutes fully now and do pretty much what I want on the pitch physically. So
yeah,
I'm kind of like, I don't need to go on that run. When actually, what I need to do is now kick on that
yeah.
next level again.
I've kicked
So
mine
yeah,
on like
have you? I've
yeah,
seen your
last
5K
night I
time
went.
actually. It was really good.
Yeah, I did that one, but then that's all I did all week because I was like, oh,
Mm,
I'll go. So do you know it's stupid because I had plans to run for like 3 or 4 days, and then I pushed myself on that 5K, and then I was knackered for the
mm.
next couple of days. But after we left yesterday, I did go and get Freisenbergs.
Freisenbergs.
Yeah, but then I
Shout out
went
to
to the
Freisenbergs if they ever
yeah,
want to
yeah.
sponsor the podcast. By the way, that is an unbelievable burger.
I'll
That
ask
is
for
honestly,
discounts, but it's six
if
quid.
yeah, I am not. There are other burger joints, but for years I went to Five Guys, and it was like, oh, I love Five Guys. It's unbelievable. Um, but actually, Freisenbergs is a third of the price, and probably nicer. Would we say it's not as big, but it's
I wouldn't
probably
say it's
nicer?
nicer. I would say it's because of the price. It obviously boosts it, doesn't it? Six
Yeah,
650 it is for a burger.
as
But
yeah, I was very impressed.
I went there and then I was like, I took the dog out 45-minute walk and then I went to the gym for 45 minutes. So I was like, well, there's me 2 45-minute exercises. And then this morning I got up, I went to the gym, and then I'm going to run to the car after this, which is like about 45 minutes.
Where is the car?
Slater's gym.
So you're going to run from Killy to there?
It's 4 miles, so it probably takes like 45 minutes or something.
Fair. I'm definitely not going to be running tonight, but I do need to get back on it. I do.
Yeah,
I
because
really,
I was
really
going
do.
to ask, Wednesday is another party with work.
Yeah,
Tune matches on.
yeah, I know. But I'm
Are
watching
you
it
going to watch?
at I'm watching it at the Box Park Wembley. So the event's at Box Park Wembley.
Oh,
So
right.
that's
Okay, so they'll be
got all the
on.
big screens and stuff. Yeah, so
Oh, ideal.
it'll be good. Um, just hope that I haven't
We'll
had
win.
enough of the free drink before, so I can actually watch it. I hope so. Yeah. So I think this last year's been a good year. I think it's almost set like the foundations for both of us. I think you're fitter, you're healthier, and you're now wanting to push on massively in 2024. I'm relatively happier. Well, I'm a lot happier than a year ago. So I have to cut myself some slack. I'm a lot happier than I was a year ago. But physically, because I haven't properly been training for like 5 weeks or something, I need to get back on that because I was feeling really good. So that's a big thing for me in 2024, definitely. So some other quick fire type questions for you. So try and keep them short and snappy. That's like you playing right back, by the way. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? One thing.
Um, My addictive personality, like I get bang into things and I go over the top for a really short period of time. I just get in
Mm,
focus and intense on one thing. Um, I, I'd like to be a little bit more measured in that, but I think again that probably just comes down to a bit of like ADHD, all or nothing kind of thing.
mhm.
What's yours?
I, I don't want to say the same, but there is definitely a same part. I think mine, if I could change one thing about myself, it would be. I should probably have thought of the answers before I asked you the question, shouldn't I?
I was
If I could
thinking by
change
next year you might have changed it. If you go to Turkey and get
You're
the
going to say
hair
a turkey, are
transplant,
you? Nah,
I'll get my
I don't
gap
think I
tooth
will.
done.
To be fair, my brother's had a hair transplant and he's considering potentially going back. But
Really,
no, I don't
that's
know.
not a good advert, though, is it?
Yeah, it's not a great advert, not at all. Um, would I change that? No, I think so. It's probably more of a personality trait I would have to change because physically, we're all getting old. Doesn't really matter, does it? That's the thing. It does. It does.
I mean,
It
if I could
really doesn't
snap a
matter.
button and have a six pack and all that and be ripped to shreds, then of course, I'd do it. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to eat the food as well. So
Um, my next goal, my goal for next year is probably to stop being so hard on myself.
we'll never.
It's a it's a shit one.
We'll,
No, because I've got you for that. I've got all my
it's
mates for that.
nah, it's impossible that one. Like
Yeah,
that,
I am my biggest
I would
critic
like
all
to
the
do
time.
that one as well. To be fair, like
I am honest. Nothing I ever do in my own head am I ever thinking, yeah, you're really good at that. I have the facade of like, yeah, I'm brilliant, or just to try and make people. 'Cause there's almost that self doubt as a weakness, and if there's a weakness, people exploit it, and all those sorts of things. So I have like a front, but I would like to stop being so hard on myself and give myself a pat on the back, but have
mm,
a reason to this time next year. So
I,
that would be my
ju-
thing.
just on that one because obviously I've done a little bit of CBT through work this year. In
Hmm.
like I didn't even know that was a thing until like I've had that conversation with her, realizing like whenever anybody ever pays you a compliment or anything like that, like always saying, "Ah, yeah, it's all right," but like like putting a downer on things all the time, and it's something that probably I hadn't really given much thought that it was even a personality trait. So now that I
Hmm.
know about it and I realize it as much, it's definitely not. I don't think it's a good thing, is it, to put yourself down all the time? So, um,
But people always say if you don't have, if you don't back yourself, who will? No one's going to come around one day and just be like, "You're amazing. You deserve
your
that
mates will
promotion."
back you.
Or yeah,
Your
but
mates do back you though, don't they? But like,
how often do any of us, even as a group of mates who even do this as a thing, go, "Mate, you're class. You know, you could do anything you want. You could be anyone you want to
you when
be
you
in
have a
this world."
drink.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. That's why you keep getting me pints in.
Hi.
Yeah,
Feed the
sorry, mate.
ego.
Mr. Motivator there. I just need the leotard. That's it. Oh, that would be a bad thing. I definitely don't need the leotard for anyone listening. Um, okay. How hard do you find balancing everything?
Better now than it was
Hmm.
before, especially without playing the games. Also, football has died off a little bit. So whereas I was playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, it's now,
Poor
to be
Azusa.
honest, at the minute it's like Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Sunday. So I'm finding it a lot easier. A lot easier. The game stopping the gaming's massively, massively helped with that.
Hmm.
Massively.
Do you struggle? So I have times in my life if I'm all in at work, my health drops. That's more physical than anything. And then if I'm all in on my mates, work might drop, or something always drops. I'm really terrible at having five
You can't have
things in
everything.
my
You can't
life.
have everything though, can you? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but how do you?
Like,
Like, what are you supposed to do?
like me
just
personally, I find that at different times of the years, it's different. Like when I need to get fit and get healthy and stuff, then I drop back on maybe the going out with my mates and stuff like that. That's the
Mm,
hard one for me is when you're out with your mates and you want to like every time I'm like, you know what it is, I don't think I'm going to drink this week, and then you get to the weekend and then I'm like, even yesterday I was tempted to have a drink even though I'd promised to pick her up, but
mm.
I just thought keep her
There
sweet
was
and
not a
not do it.
chance.
But
There was not a chance for me yesterday. Not a chance.
I think if
I
I got one, maybe you would have.
No, I don't think so. I,
No,
no, honestly, I ate that pizza and I felt really sick. and I'd never feel sick hungover. So
It had barbecue on it.
yeah, it wasn't the best. I know you guys liked it. Yeah, so I do struggle with the whole, and I think this is where it comes down to being hard on myself. I really feel like, hang on, what's Scott McIntyre, Lewis, Dino warming the bench seat up. I see still. Keep it gan, gents. Oh, I miss that kid. For all I would give him some jip, right? What a lad. I had
Just
so
saying
much
that
time
'cause
for
on the
him.
pod.
No, I honestly had a lot of time for Scott. I think he shouldn't have left, but that is
Scotty
what it
two
is.
pennies McIntyre.
Scotty two pennies McIntyre, is it? Yeah, I really struggle with where I say being hard on myself. The idea of, well, I think I need to be the best at work, and then I think I need to be the best at football, which I am, and then I think I need to be.
You're not even the best on this podcast, mate.
Yeah, it's true. Then I think I need to be the best dad, and then I think like all those sorts of things, and I put myself under so much pressure all of the time, and I think it's because I really struggle with not having something in control or not feeling like I'm all over it. So yeah, I definitely need to find that. That would be another thing, and I know it comes into the not being hard on yourself. That would be something for 2024 as a big goal of mine, of trying to find a way to just accept that not everything is going to be great all of the time. Yeah, that's something on my list. So this is a big question. This is an aspirational question. What do you want to be remembered for? Even one thing. No, not even one thing. One thing. When on your gravestone, you've got to have there's got to be a little quote. Dean Brown. Da, 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 da.
I just think like was sound like people think that you're an all right person. To be fair, like sometimes I just think I'm proper sound me like like just sometimes just
I can see you saying that to yourself in the mirror as well.
do you know like when you're just letting people out and like and you're driving you're just flashing people out and then they go and you're just like that fucking sound me like so I think that's the best thing in life really, isn't it, just to be liked, people to think highly of you.
So is being liked important to you?
Yeah, 100%. I think
By
so.
everyone? By everyone,
No,
or just people
no,
you
but
care about?
just the people that you want, you're closer to, your wife, your family, your
Mhm.
friends.
Yeah,
Aye. What's yours?
I don't
What was the question again?
know. What do I
Oh,
want to
what
be
do you want to be
remembered for?
remembered for?
Um, Probably
Lewis
for
Fine's man of the
I had.
match.
Some would say I already will go down in history for that. I've gone down in history for being lots of things, but not that. I think it would be, and I'm definitely still working on it, for being a good person. And there's a lot of work to be done in, and again, being hard on myself, blah 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 blah. But I want to be known as someone who genuinely tried to help people. And I think this is why this podcast, irrespective of whether we have 10,000 listeners on some episodes, or we have 100 on some, or we have 50 on some, or a million, it doesn't really matter for me. I think what really drives me is genuinely trying to help people. Like, even when we set up the team, and I can see Dan Ray's commented saying Lewis Vine's Northern League, but in terms of even Dan, for
Got to get
example,
that
right?
in.
No, he said, well, I don't. So it's him just having my life more than anything. When we started the football team and Dan was a big part of it, it was because we as a group of mates were not playing football, and playing football on a Sunday night just to kick about made us really happy and gave us so much more. So I think as I've become an adult, the things that have really actually driven me as a person is trying to help people. So yeah, I would like to go down in history and be remembered for someone who helped people, irrespective of one person or a million, as I say. But ideally a million, because then it means we can do this a lot more than we do it, and maybe do it better than we do it. Definitely do it better than we do it. So yeah, another one here. What is an insult that you've received that you are proud of? There's only one that springs to my mind for
What's
me.
that? What's
You're a
that?
cunt.
Oh, really?
Excuse the
I don't
language,
mind that.
all listeners. No, I'm proud of that one because, like, I feel because there's good and bad ones, right? And to when a lad says that to like another lad, it's like a term. Is it a term of endearment? Like,
Yeah.
if I say it, it's almost like, yeah, but I really like you
Yeah.
in the way that we say it, sort of thing. So yeah, that's probably one. Or what did I get called the other day? Someone said I was like, we played against 3 Sales, and I think you told me it. They said I was like Amrabat at the World Cup.
No, who said it again? It wasn't me, but I can't remember who said it.
Amrabat at the World Cup pre Man United. So I'm going to be honest. I didn't think he was amazing, but I will take it. I will absolutely take that as an insult because it is an insult, and I will take it as a compliment. Right?
I'm trying to think who said it though. Who said it? Was it one of their players?
I think their gaffer said it to you.
Oh yeah. I don't really have one that I'm proud of, but I'm just laughing. I was just laughing because last season when I had a bit more of a belly on us, and we were going up for a corner, and I was standing in the box unmarked, and some kid was like, "Someone mark the fat cunt, the one with a massive fucking kite." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What? Like, who says that?"
That was you as well. But the thing
I
is,
didn't
you
even think
should
it was
be
that
proud,
big.
mate.
Yeah,
Mate. One day we need to show the picture. There was a picture not preseason gone, the one before, of you running the line against where was that?
Hebben.
What was that? Hebben.
Hebben.
Your belly's out, and your belly goes. It looked like it was down to your knees, mate, didn't it? I don't
It's not that
understand
bad.
how your belly, not now, but how your belly was so big in proportion to the rest of your body.
It's still the same though. Like even now, like I've got nothing on my arms or legs. It's just my belly, innit?
It's very odd.
I don't even know how I used to run around like that.
Belly alley. That's what it is.
Belly alley, yeah, that's the one.
That's the nickname
That's
in the
it,
chat.
mate.
Okay. And obviously, a really big question here. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, I don't know what I want to do when I leave school, mate. I left 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
What do I don't think I'll be a footballer anymore. But
You were getting someone yesterday so bad, Michael, with that banter, weren't you?
oh, he was fucking sick, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
sick. I don't even know, mate. I don't know. I'm just happy continuing as I am, just going through life. Like to have a better job, but like maybe it's more of like a career type job, something where I
Mm-hmm.
can like progress. Job wise, like my job doesn't have an end goal. My job is just to take calls and just make sales. You'll never ever ever complete that job. Like it just every day you just take calls, and I would like a job where like this is what your role is. You've got to do this, and you're judged on that. But at the end of you completing that, like,
Like
so I
projecty
think,
type stuff.
yeah, I think that's ultimately what I would like to work towards, rather than the kind of job I've got now. But other than that, like, I'd maybe like to have my own business. I'd like to maybe be my own boss, do my own thing, have a little bit more. But then ultimately, really, all I'm thinking about is just having more time to
To do what
do
you want
the
to.
stuff that I'm loving to do now. So it would just be to play more football, go to the gym more, go for runs and stuff like that. So
So you're going to become an influencer, basically. That's what you're saying.
yeah, hopefully I maybe a YouTuber or something like that.
God.
What you want to be when you grow up?
Um, I'll copy your crack. Can't be a footballer. That was my dream in school. It would. So I love I really like my job. I really like what I'm doing. I would like to learn. I'd like to get even better at my job. So that would be something. I think I'm lucky because the type of work you say you want to do is generally the type of work that my job is.
Yeah.
Um, if I could click my fingers tomorrow and I got paid the same amount of money for doing anything, though, it would probably be something around what we do here, as in helping people. that would be my ultimate goal, because I think we could do so much more with we could do stuff with sport and physical exercise and
Yeah.
stuff for the podcast. There's no reason why it can't include that stuff, because
Yeah.
it's just a branch of health, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I would love to do I would love to do this full time. I think the challenge is it's a drop from what my career is to this, and it's a drop for all of us. Like, it's a big drop for all of us, because it's your wage versus this, isn't it? So 2024 is going to be the year that this podcast starts to really, in my head, starts to really become that second bit of income for us all, where some brand deals, sponsorship, more, and all that sort of stuff. This is the year where maybe it starts to transition, where maybe you and Job get a bit more out of it, and can reduce hours, and gives you a bit more of that balance, if that's what you want. I don't know. We can make that. That's the kind of things that I want, because I think if we had someone like Job, for example, working on this 3 days a week, full time, the type of stuff he could produce for it would be incredible.
Yeah.
So it's how do we transition? So what do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be a person who gets to help people every day. That's what I want to be. I don't know what that actually is, but we'll get there eventually. So what is one controversial thing that you think that others might disagree with? Now, you love controversial shit.
I
Now
think
it's
you
how
both
brave
do,
are you
don't
gonna?
you?
Yeah, how brave are you gonna be?
Oh, again, like thinking about it.
Now these are the kind of things we're going to introduce in the pod every week. We're going to talk about a controversial topic, and there's probably going to be some really heated debates, because we have strong opinions. So you don't know where to take this, do you?
Yeah, no, there's just some of them. I'm just like, yeah, do I? Mm,
You haven't got it. You bottled it, yeah.
I've got a few, but like I'm just
I
thinking
know.
about the podcast and where if you want a 2024, whether or not I'm allowed to say some of them.
Okay, I'll ask you a question. Do you think?
Right.
Well, we'll go for a nice vanilla one. Nah, you go. Just be brave.
There may or may not be a professional footballer that's made some allegations this week, and I might agree with them. That's all I'll say.
Oh, and you fully agree with them, or do you agree with some of them?
I fully agree.
Do you?
Yeah, for me, it's just what I enjoy. I think it's probably it's more what you're used to, though, isn't it? You're used to it, so like, like
It's a
if
habit.
yeah, if like if somebody just changed their name or something like that, and you just had to start calling them something different, like how weird it would be. I think in probably 10 years' time, nobody will even think about it. But while you're in this transition phase, it's it's just hard to get used to, isn't it? But there's
Yeah,
a few.
fully understand. Yeah, I understand that. It's not something that, and I said it. I don't entirely agree with it. There's elements of it I agree with, but I would say the same. If his point is ultimately, so this is for context for everyone listening. This is Joey Barton tweeting that women should be nowhere near commentating on men's football. So that
Yeah.
was the main tweet, wasn't it? It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Now that's wrong, I believe, because I think some of the women pundits are good. Just like some of the men are good and some of the men are terrible, some of the women are terrible. I'm not trying to sit on the fence here. There are worse women pundits than the men's women pundits, but I think that's probably because of what you've just said. It's the change curve of them being new to it. If you look at Gary Neville when he started, he was terrible. And I think they did a Sky Sports bit on his first one, and he even said like he didn't feel like that was going to be his career and all those things. So yeah, I think there's definitely room for that. I think we would be wasting that topic on this pod where we're not going to properly bottom it out. Where yeah, we can definitely have that debate in the future. I think what I would love to see is the women's football to stand on its own right a bit, just as the men's do, and not come across and saying that the women's is like we have to watch the women's. It should just be a choice. If you support women's football, great. I like watching the women's internationals more than the Premier
I
League. I
actually
have
don't
to be
mind
honest.
watching it, but it's just a different game, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a slower game. That's what it is. I think I seen one of the ex women England players. I think it was on Piers Morgan. I think she was a ex women's international. I could be wrong, saying that she thinks the pitch should be smaller, even slightly smaller, because then it'll speed the game up a little.
Yeah, even like it's the goals, man. The keepers are too small, and it's just
Mhm.
natural, isn't it? Because you've got Nick Pope 6'8", and then you've got what's the
5'9".
England keeper's
Yeah,
5'6", 5'6" or 5'7", isn't she?
is she? Is she?
Yeah,
Well, I'm 5'9", and I can't really touch the crossbar, especially
no,
if
well,
it's like if I'm in
touch
the
the
middle of
ball,
the
but not
goal.
dive into the corners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't dive to the corners. Like you just can't. Um, so yeah, I think that's a topic we can definitely cover. We've got some. I actually have a woman's ex footballer wanting to come on as well. So maybe you can have that
maybe
debate.
she might not come on now.
She will. She will. They have to. This is all part of it. If it's all about raising awareness, I think you're open to your mind being changed if there's a reason to change your mind. You're not sat there saying I'm a closed book. I don't believe in it ever. You're saying I don't like it
Nah,
today, and it has over time. You'll get used to it, right?
half the time we're just on the wind up, anyways, as well, aren't we? So,
Yeah, yeah. Half the
but do
time.
you have one? Do you have a what was
Oh,
it?
what was the question?
And
Controversial story that you think others might disagree with. Ooh. I
pineapple
don't
on
know if many
pizza?
I don't know if many people would really disagree with it now, but just that the pandemic was a load of bullshit.
Oh, it was 100%. Don't even get me started.
Like,
Sorry,
so
mate.
when you look at some of the data between flu, people with flu that year, and then COVID. So there's no flu and there's all COVID. So, but flu was pretty much the COVID was pretty much what flu was last year. And I'm not an expert in this. I'm only seeing the data that I've seen. So if someone wants to argue with me and you're going to prove me that I'm absolutely wrong, I am more than happy to listen and learn
We're a
about
conspiracy
that.
podcast now, guys.
We're definitely not a conspiracy podcast, but I think for me it wasn't. It just felt, even if it was absolutely, um, even if it was like as bad, really bad, which I think it was because lots of people died, which is really sad. Genuinely, I feel stopping the whole world for it was um a bit. It felt
OTT.
really over the top. It felt really over the top, and now it just feels like us as a everyday consumer now, everything's gone up because of it. And I know the European us leaving the EU has massively affected that, but all the prices of everything going up just feels like we were suffocated from everything in terms of like shops had to put the prices up. The whole sort of supply chain's gone up, 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 up. Oil obviously going up. The war in Ukraine wouldn't have helped either, and it just feels like it was just a way to get us to all be £400 a month worse off.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Your food shop's gone up 50%. Gas and
Even
electric's gone up
Aldi.
silly amount. Yeah, even
Like
Aldi and Lidl
Aldi, we
have
used
gone
to
up.
go and like she has my wife's got like a picture on her phone of a receipt and this trolley we've got at Aldi. It's like the trolley's full. It's like £30, £36 or something like that. And like now, I went in the other day and I got like sausages and bacon and bread, and it was £6. Like sausage, bacon, and bread. Like it's absolutely ludicrous. Would you lock down again if they
No.
said there was a new variant? You've now got to stay
Oh,
in your
would I?
homes.
Would I if it was legally forced that I had to?
Yeah,
Well, legally, if I had to, yes. I'm not gonna.
really?
I'm not.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go and commit a crime. But I wouldn't believe. But I think by the last one, everyone had enough, right? Everyone was like, "This is a ridiculous. We can't keep staying in our homes." When you actually think back to that time, I actually can't comprehend that we all just stayed in the house.
Well, I didn't. You did.
Yeah. I can't comprehend the fact that we did that. There was lots of good things to come out of COVID, though. I felt it
I
made
got
me.
wick.
Yeah, you piled on the weight, though, didn't you?
No, I was going to say I got some. Yeah, I was drinking loads, and I got some wicked bonuses as well because all the retail shops were
Contingency.
shut. No,
Oh,
the street retail. No, I had to work every day, and I was in the office every day.
yeah, I was as
The
well.
working from home didn't even come in until like halfway through.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I was at home every day. I was in the office. Sorry,
Yeah.
key workers.
I think it would be really interesting to get someone on the podcast. Maybe we could get two people. Maybe we get a conspiracy theorist about the pandemic and someone who is really like passionate that it was the right thing to do
So just
with
me and you
facts.
then.
Though, no, because I think we are both idiots when it comes to that, and we're northern, and by being northern, we will always veer to the conspiracy theory. I think of the government are after us. There's almost like
They're
that
up.
part up
They
here.
are like.
There's that opinion up here. To be fair, so yeah, maybe we get some experts on because I genuinely would be interested in learning about it. To be fair, okay. Other question: what was the best year of your life and why? What year did you have the most fun or enjoy the most?
This year's been good.
Hmm,
I mean, most of the other years I was drinking a lot, and I don't really remember them. To be fair, I went traveling. Traveling was sick. Any of my years in Australia, um, yeah, probably any of them. Or this, like I say, I think overall this year has been pretty good. Um, there's not much that I would change about like this year. Going on multiple holidays, getting fit again. Probably, yeah. One of the years I travelled, or maybe this year's like I only got married, so like
twice.
yeah, I was already married though, and then
So have you
now
been
I'm
married
thinking
3 times?
3 times, divorced twice.
Same bird.
What? 3 times you just shouted.
What was the best year of my life?
This year
Um,
wasn't it?
if it was, I've had a really shit life. Um, best year of my life.
Probably that year you had the threesome.
You're such a liar.
Oh well, you.
Uh, best year of my life. Probably it's probably a school one. Could be being 16. Well, I was going to say being 16, but my parents broke up when I was 16, so it's probably not that one. Uh, sorry to bring the mood down. I think maybe 19, the year I moved to Newcastle. I'd say that was probably the best year because I went from living in a town in Cornwall, which was and it was really bad. I have such great memories there, and I'd be really concerned I'd move back and it'd be really shit.
Mm.
Where if I was just single, I wasn't a dad. In my head, part of me is like, I could just go and live down there. Do you know when you have those ulterior thoughts or whatever? And but I'm really concerned it could just be really shit because it's just a town in Cornwall. I've been living in Newcastle where it's
It'll
actually
be
busy.
it'll be shit.
Yeah,
It'll be good for a little bit, and then it'll be shit.
yeah. So, but yeah, that was really good living down there. But then when I came to Newcastle, and imagine being 19 and having never lived in Newcastle, never really lived. I'd lived near Plymouth, so I went out there a little bit. But Plymouth to Newcastle, it's just completely different. And the first weekend I moved up was Derby Day. I remember going out at 7:30 in the morning, drinking all day, getting back in at
It,
5 in the
it was a
morning,
late kickoff
thinking
as well, wasn't it?
I can't
Was
remember.
that the last? Was it the last one? I'm sure there was one that was like late.
No, it
Like
wasn't the
this
last
one's
one.
12:30. Oh, wasn't
No, it
it?
wasn't the last one. I've been out a few. And I remember getting in at 5, being like, "Whoa, that was just insane." And then for a year, it just felt. I think I went on 3 holidays that year. Yeah, life was pretty good. Life was pretty good then. And now I'm 31 and feel old, and I go out and I feel dead for a week. Okay, we've got two more. We're going to do them the other way I've wrote them, and then we're done. What rules do you have in a relationship?
For like us, or like
Could
me,
be
or her.
friendship, could be friendship, you and your
Oh,
missus, whatever. Like, what things do you
not
think
really.
make a good relationship, even friendship?
Um, just being honest, being. You can tell white lies. White lies are all right. Nothing serious or anything like that. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I don't know. Like me and Azusa's relationship's quite good. We don't really have like just the basic ones. Don't cheat and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I think honesty is a big one. I'm not that deep really. I just like get on with people, or I don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't really. I wouldn't say I have any rules. Like
Do you have ethics or
try,
standards? Anything that like you live by?
nah, I'm trying to think. Like I don't even really tend to like fall out with people. Like I just would just tend to like drift apart. Maybe
Hmm.
especially with my personality of getting interested like in football, then I hang out with the football lads, but then maybe badminton, so I'll hang around with the badminton lad or like that sort of stuff. So like, but ultimately I don't really fall out. I'm trying to think like why I would fall out as to what rules were broken or anything. But what
Hmm.
do you have like?
I think honesty is definitely a big one. I think having people who are your champion, like having people in your life who genuinely not just say they want the best for you, but genuinely will go out of their way to make sure you like the best for you. I think
Yeah,
that's something that I've definitely learned. Um, having like your friends and the people that are important to you in your life should be your biggest supporters.
yeah,
I think that's a big thing. I think being able to have difficult conversations without people getting offended as well. Like if you're being a dick or I'm being a dick, we should be able to say to each other, right, you're being a dick.
yeah,
Without it being, oh, we're falling out, whatever. It should just be able to go, because I'm your friend or because I care about you, you are being a dick. Stop being a dick. I
yeah.
feel like that's a big thing that again, I've learned, and you win and lose friends from that, I think. But
I like that. I
ultimately,
think
I think you have to have friends.
being being able to disagree with your mates, like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
like
we
that.
bicker so much.
Yeah, well, but like, because obviously it's hard with us though, because it's hard to know when someone's playing devil's advocate or they're genuinely trying to say like, no,
Most of the time,
I
we're
don't,
being a
I don't
dick,
agree.
aren't we?
Yeah, most of the time we're being a dick. Yeah, uh,
Yeah.
but no, I think that's a good one. Being able to just be honest about that sort of thing. If you don't agree with something that someone says and not taking the heart, but
And I
yeah, I
also
think
think being able to rely on people, I think
yeah,
that's a big thing. Where I know if if you're in an environment and something was going to happen to me negatively without me being there, or whatever,
yeah,
you would resolve that or stop it or whatever. And and that goes with loads of my friends. I think like that it should be that.
yeah.
Um, I think that there are the big things. So yeah, definitely those are the ones for me. I have one more question, and I need to get my list up because I was really I was really prepared for this one. I actually made notes and everything because it was only the two of us. What is
Yeah,
your
wicked. Thanks for sharing them.
oh, but it ruins the fun if you're actually fully prepared. You should. Are you not just good at bullshitting? That's your job,
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
half the time would just be sat in silence of me trying to think about stuff, and then you say stuff, and then I jump on and pretend that was mine.
Yeah, story of our friendship, mate. What's your most embarrassing story?
um,
I have a good one, to be fair.
have you? Go with
Yeah,
yours, and then I'll think
it's
about because
really embarrassing too.
I've got a few, but I'm not really embarrassed. They're funny.
I rarely get embarrassed, but this one is a little bit embarrassing. And warning to the listeners: this this is not a nice story. I was how old would I have been? Maybe 14, 15, and I remember competing for my school in the 100 meters at like the county schools or whatever, and drove down to Par. You'll know where Par is, right? Down in Cornwall.
Nah,
Or
I
it's
only know
just
Penzance Land's End.
it's not a million miles away from there. It's more down the depths than where I used to live in Tor Point, and went down there. But before, I'd so at my football team used to get free Nutrigrain bars. So I took a load of these Nutrigrain bars. I was like, well, they're free because you just get boxes of them. So I took them and thinking, oh, they'll give me energy. I have them before football sometimes, but they give me the shits. They gave me the shits every time before football. And like you talk about it now, where you get really nervous before playing football. Um,
Running the line.
is Reese just done me out there saying I thought 100 meters were tall? Mate, I was 14 and I was this tall. So wind your neck in, right? I used to get really nervous before anything, like playing football, running, whatever. Coupled with Nutri-Grain bars, I remember being around the track and there's me thinking I'm the boy. There's girls, and I'm just because all those events were just like all the schools together, and you'd walk around with your mates, and you're 14, and you think you're really cool. You'd see the girls, and you're like, oh, they're really fit or whatever, and you try and talk to them. And I remember like trying to talk to them, but as I was walking over, I shit myself, like properly watery shit myself, and it is disgusting. And then I remember having to like go in the bathroom and like try and clean myself up. Basically, imagine being 14 again, thinking you're cool and you're not. Like you're really not. I had a wet patch on my shorts. Oh, it was horrible. And I ran the 100 meters, but when I was running the 100 meters, I didn't feel like I could sprint in case I then shit myself again. Because do you know it's like if you've got the shits, your stomach's just like feels like that, doesn't it? So I think that was the last day that I ever had a Nutri-Grain bar. Maybe I should have started the story being like, I now don't eat Nutri-Grain bars, and then took it that way. Reese saying you could exactly see where that story was going.
I know.
Yeah, I think we all knew where it was going, but I had to get there, right? Hopefully, I ran the 100 meters quicker than it took me to tell that story. But I've been on with Dean tonight, so my stories I've learned how he tells
Yours are
stories.
like a 100-meter sprint rather than my marathons.
Yeah, it's true.
Mine's not. I don't really get embarrassed about a lot of stuff. I've got a few shit stories, like one being, I don't know, we used to go to V Fest with all my mates from Leicester, and
Yeah,
I don't know if have you been to a music festival before?
yeah,
Yeah, and obviously, like you go to the bathroom and like in the morning and that they're absolutely rammed. There's so many people waiting for the toilets and that. And I've been down for the toilet and I had to wait for ages. And I got back to the tent. And as I was coming back to the tent, I looked and there was some porta cabins like right 100 meters from our tent. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? I've walked all the way down there. There was just fucking toilets right there. So then was drinking and that the next day. And I was thinking, oh, I need a toilet. But they're only 100 meters away. And I looked and there was no queue. I was like, oh, I'll just take my time. So I was just drinking. And then, like when it get to a point, you think, no, I really need to go now. So I went, like, and as you get closer and closer to the toilet, like it gets worse, doesn't it? Because the anticipation.
because your body almost just prepares. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're going to take it slow. Well, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah. And like you get right there, and I opened the door, no queue or anything. Open the door, and as I opened the door, it's fucking shower. It's not a fucking toilet. So I was like, oh no, and I was like, but I couldn't hold it in, so I just had to. And somebody had left this like little T-shirt on the floor, so like I just had a shit in the thing, wiping it down, and I just put the T-shirt over the top of it, and then I come out and I was walking away, and as I was walking away, there was some girl coming down to get a shower, and she's like walked in, but obviously the T-shirt's over the top, so as soon as the door shut, I just ran around the corner.
That's not that embarrassing though, because you didn't get caught.
No, I know that's what I mean.
People definitely seen that I had shit myself. They will have seen.
I haven't had one like that. I had got
really
another
bad.
one, but it's another shit story if you want it. But it's
I don't
not.
feel like we need. I don't feel we need shit stories.
We'll do it. We'll
because
do
I
a
led
shit
with
story. No, this is it. This is a shit story. What we'll do is we'll do like every podcast at the end. We'll do a shit story. So I'll save this one for the next podcast. Like, see no evil, shit no evil.
What happens when when we run out of stories? Are you just going to start shitting in random
We'll
places?
start creating some stories.
Oh God, that's a fun one. But yeah, God, I think what we'll do, we'll wrap it up there. What I'll say to everyone is, we across all viewership and stuff, we've had hundreds of thousands of views now. We are in a place where, as a group of mates, as I say, we've lost a few. We wish we didn't, but we have. They may come back on, which would be great. We are talking about maybe some new people coming on as well. I think it's always good to freshen it up, which is a positive. 2024 is going to be a big year for us. I think I've got us booked till about February now already, which is good. which is only really a month, but January there's about 400 weeks in January, isn't there? And payday seems to take forever. And next year, I think we're going to do a lot more face-to-face stuff. James has moved back to the northeast from the north of Scotland. Me and Dean see each other like 8 days a week. Job's going to be coming on a lot more as well, which is good. And I also want to thank everyone who has listened, does listen, is a supporter of the pod. I get so many messages on LinkedIn, people saying thank you for what you guys do. Really enjoyed the conversation. Big fans. Thank you to all of our guests who've come on. It's been 11 months, but this is really year one for us. Next year is going to be bigger. The year after will be bigger and better. And we'd love to have some of our guests that have been on back on as well. That'd be huge for us. We really enjoyed all of our guests. We are so grateful for all of our listeners. We hope that everyone has an amazing Christmas and New Year with their family, friends, loved ones. And yeah, we will catch you in 2024. Dean, anything from you?
No, just thanks for everyone that listens and participates. And I have a good Christmas and New Year. Short
Honestly, it is a Dean of many words. Obviously, we have one of our mums, because there's always one of our mums commenting.
Yeah.
Enjoy your pod. Merry Christmas, everyone. Looking forward to next year's podcast. And that is from my mum with a pug picture. That's a pug, Timmy. All right, everyone. We'll end on that note. I hope you all, as I say, have an amazing time with your family. We're not on for a few weeks, and we will catch you in 2024. Good night.
In a bit, guys.